You are a competitive person. How has your view of competition changed over your lifetime?
Yeah, it's I compete against myself more than I compete against anybody else these days. Uh, yeah, so it's interesting and kind of leaving high school and going to college. I didn't even know what the SAT test was. This is how small our country school was. We didn't have college counselors, and I just thought it was another standardized test, and so I did poorly, very poorly on it. Couldn't even get into college, and so my competitive nature started going. Wait a second, what do you mean I can't get into college? And my siblings primarily didn't go to college except for one sister. She went to a local community college, and my father really wanted me to go to college because he thought it was a great place to learn, but to meet other people that you could network with for life, and he thought that was important. And basically, we had to beg the president of Baylor University to allow me to go to the first 6 weeks of summer school and see if I can make the grade, the GPA. And I'm like, what's a GPA? I mean, really, Matthew, I didn't know anything about college, and I struggled through that first 6 weeks. And I did make it, but I didn't finish. I didn't complete college because I was working full time for my father, 30 hours a week in his businesses, and going to school full time. And it just wasn't fun. And at that stage of my life, I wanted to have fun. So I finally, just said to him, what am I doing here? This is not good. He said, well, why don't you take a semester off from school, work with me side by side, and then make a decision. But in the meantime, get your real estate license. So that's the kind of schooling you could do right now, is just to get your real estate license, because he was building quite a real estate company.
Got it.
So I never went back to college, other than, going to teach classes on franchising and entrepreneurship at Baylor University without having had a degree.
Wow. Now, do you ever regret not finishing college?
I really don't.
Yeah.
I learned so much from my father, and not that I always enjoyed working with him, because he was very tough on me. But again, I'm grateful for those lessons now. Back then it was hard.
How did him being tough on you, how did that manifest?
Yeah. Well, it just made me a better person overall, better leader. I mean, he put me in situations that, one example is we went through the savings and loans crisis. So we had a lot of real estate, a lot of commercial multifamily properties, and the occupancies were like 60%, and we couldn't make our mortgage payments. And he said, look, called me into his office one day. He said, look, I need you to go to the bank, tell them that we can't make our payments, so they can either take their property back or they can discount our mortgage by 50%. And I was mad. I said, what do you mean? You agreed to pay this mortgage. You can't tell them you're not going to pay it. He said, well, what you don't understand is we don't have the money to pay it. You can't do that at a 60% occupancy rate. I was furious and embarrassed that I had to go to the banker to have this conversation. Want me to finish that?
How old were you then?
I was probably 22, 23.
And how did that go?
Surprisingly well.
Yeah.
The banker said, thank you for being honest with me. Let me go to our committee and see what we can do. Came back 2 weeks later, discounted the mortgage by 40%, not 50. He said, but the other 10% we want you to put aside into a reserve fund. So if you've got roof leaks or you've got other maintenance issues that need to be attended to, that money is set aside just for that, so we know that the property is being taken care of. What a lesson.
Yeah.
But he just wanted me to be honest. I thought he was breaking our values, by asking me to do something that was against what he had signed. But at the end of the day, he was just being honest. While other people were just giving their properties back, the bank didn't want another property.
Sure.